Knox Country
Podcast Edition.
I've always been around great songwriters and artists my whole life. I'm Michael Knox. Welcome to my world.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Jason Aldean, and you are listening to my boy Michael Knox on Knox Country
Podcast.
Welcome to the Knox Country Syndicated Radio Show podcast. I am here with Wendell Mobley, one of my favorite songwriters in town. I've known Wendell a long time, 10 number ones. He's written a few things for me as a producer some of my favorite songs like Tattoos on This Town, which is probably my favorite Jason Aldean song I've ever recorded. And other highlights of his career, things like Fast Cars and Freedom, How Country Feels, which was ASCAP Song of the Year for Randy Houser, and There Goes My Life, which is a second to none kind of song for Kenny Chesney. But thank you for being here, Wendell.
Thank you. How are you?
I am awesome.
Good.
But hey, let's jump right in this. I want to talk about There Goes My Life, kind of where y'all, who all you wrote that with, where that came from, kind of how y'all wrote it.
Wow. That the story behind that song. I actually had that idea and tried to write it with somebody like a year before. Well, actually, it wasn't a year before. It was a couple weeks before, and they didn't really get it. And I took it to Neil, and Neil was like, holy crap, yeah, we're writing this. So we wrote a little bit of it, and then it just got put away, and I never thought any more of it. And Neil got it out one day. He was like, man, we need to finish this. We need to write this, and
is it just the two of y'all?
It was just Neil and I, Neil Thrasher and I. Yeah. And, we wrote it at my house and just went upstairs and did it on, my Pro Tools thing, just a guitar vocal, and, sent it to, I can't remember if we sent it to Renee Bell or Buddy Cannon or. So
with guys like you and Neil, how do y'all fight on who sings the demo? Because both of y'all are crazy singers.
Well, we're both really lazy, so we're usually trying to talk the other one into singing.
Well, who sang that one?
Neil did, yeah, and it's great. Yeah, it's just very raw. It's just an acoustic and Neil singing.
But dude, with that's probably the video too. I mean, the whole presentation of that song is crazy. I mean. Did that win anything at the awards? I know it was nominated for Song of the Year and things like that, but
yeah, it was nominated for I think ACM or CMA, one of the
ACM Song of the Year.
ACM, there we go. Yeah, and
you guys were up against a big one though too, with the 3 wooden crosses.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, yeah, I've forgotten what won, but yeah, I know we got dressed up and. For nothing.
Do you remember what you wore that night? Do you remember?
Purple. It was purple. Something purple.
But it was 7-week number one. I mean, that's
at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that had to be one of the last, like, over 5-week number one singles we've had in our format.
Yeah, I mean, it was close
big.
for sure. Yeah.
Big song.
Yeah, that was a big song. Proud of that one.
Now, going back in time a little bit, you kind of started your career.
With you.
Well, kind of, but weren't you playing for Alabama? Weren't you in?
I did play for Alabama, but that was after, that was a funny thing. I know Teddy had asked me a couple times about going out and playing with him, and I was writing. I was at Warner Chapel with you at the time. And I just kept saying, nah, I need to be writing. I don't want to go do that. And I remember one day I was packing my truck to go see my parents, just to drive home. I was getting ready to drive home, and Teddy calls and says, hey man, I don't know what happened with their acoustic player, background singer guy or whatever, but he calls and says, hey, you want to go on the road? And for some reason I just said, sure, I'll go. And I just thought I'd just go home for the weekend and come back and we'd talk about it. And he goes, oh, we're, the show's tomorrow night. And I was like, I don't know the songs. I don't know any, I'm getting ready to leave. And so anyway, I just went and got a bunch of CDs from RCA and woodshedded every song that they played in their show and knew them all the next night and just walked on stage and played them.
Did you have to sing any backgrounds?
Yes,
like that?
I did backgrounds and played acoustic. Yeah.
But that's also, but that had to be a great experience because
that was an amazing spice of life, man. It was just crazy.
At what point, what year was this?
This was during Josh Leo's recordings, right?
I think Josh was still working with them, but this would have been in the 90s.
Was this I'm in a Hurry, things like that?
Late 90s or something.
Was that?
They were approaching,
Was it like their first farewell tour?
No, they weren't. That wasn't happening yet, but it was like maybe a couple years later.
I was about to say, did I see you play in Beaumont?
You probably did.
He was out there knocking them out of the way, trying to pose. Doing the Tully pose.
I can't quite get that leg spread. Tully's got. Yeah.
So was Warner Chappell your first publishing deal?
Man, it kind of was.
I
was at some little podunk place with Trisha Yearwood. We were there together.
And what year was that?
God, you're going to date me. You're going to date me bad.
1940.
Something like that. That would have been. I met her. The old Warner Chappell building.
Yeah,
used to be Mary Tyler Moore Records.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
really?
MTM.
Was my office Mary Tyler Moore's office?
I don't even know if you were born yet, but it was MTM Records, right?
Yeah.
And I met Trisha Yearwood there. We were looking for a singer for a band, and she was the receptionist there. Had the big hair, and this was 89.
Yeah.
80 something. Yeah.
So you've always been with Warner Chappell?
Yeah, I have been. Yeah. So, I defected for like a year or so.
And then you came back.
Yeah. So
I had to make the call.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you've saved me a couple times in different situations, but anyway, yeah. He actually has. It's crazy. But did I get lost on my story there?
No.
Yeah.
No, Mary Tyler Moore Records.
And Trisha
is where you started.
I forget now.
But I never knew. I never knew what you were really doing before the Warner Chappell's days. So that's why I was asking.
Oh man, well that was 91.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
because I came in 92, and then right then is when me and you met, and you were doing what's Fast Cars and Freedom.
Marv was the next guy.
Yeah.
That's still around. You know what I mean?
I had Marv, Jeff Stevens.
Yeah, Jeff. Jeff was there forever.
But now Fast Cars and Freedom, that was y'all's Rascal Flatts run. Y'all had a lot of Rascal Flatts stuff.
Yeah, that was in mid 2000s, I guess.
Yeah.
And Fast Cars and Freedom was another. That was just a weird ride at my house where we had what would have been the first track guy in Nashville, probably. Except it worked a lot better because we didn't have to pay him. He didn't get a third of the song.
Well, that has changed.
Yeah, that has changed. Yes. So anyway, Patrick's upstairs. Neil and I are downstairs writing and going through this idea. We started from the top of the idea. We didn't have a title. We didn't have anything. We had a little groove or a lick. I can't remember. And just started singing, and it was a line at a time.
Yeah.
We weren't writing into anything, so it was.
But
a little
that
bit
melody
difficult.
is sick.
Yeah, it's killer. Yeah,
that chorus thing. I mean, and it ain't even the title. It ain't even the hook.
Yeah,
y'all just kind of threw it in there, but y'all wrote it with somebody in the band, correct?
Yeah, with Gary LaBox. Yeah. But we would take pieces. We would take pieces up to Patrick, and he'd start doing drums and trying to figure out how everything.
Well, Patrick's a relative of Neil, so y'all didn't really have to.
We didn't have to pay him.
No, I bet though he's bitter at the barbecues though.
Yeah. Yes, he is definitely bitter.
Now, but you had a big run with Rascal Flatts. I mean, y'all even went on tour with them.
Yeah, we did in 2008. Yeah,
played some shows.
Yeah,
like, did you ever stand up and pose?
I'm just tired. You talking about it? Yeah. Yeah, we had banjo, Fast Cars and Freedom, Take Me There, I Melt, Changed. Geez,
dude, the way
crazy.
You sing I Melt live.
I've not done it in forever, but I need to start doing it again.
Man, it was sick the way you would hit that note. And another one that I love is that I Know You Won't, the Carrie Underwood.
Yeah.
Man, the way you do that song is second to none.
I never did that live. After hearing Neil sing the demo and then hearing Carrie sing it, I was just like, when we were writing it, I wanted to do it because it was so fun to sing. And then after hearing them sing it, and then after that, hearing Kelly Clarkson do it at the Troubadour in LA, which she killed it. I just didn't do it for a long time,
I heard you do it at a writer's night, and I've been wearing you out ever since about it.
Yeah. Well, I started hearing some of the kids do it on American Idol and The Voice and stuff. And I thought, shit, I can do that. So, so I started doing it. Hey guys, this is Wendell Mobley, and you're listening to Knox Country
Podcast.
But you have writing teams. I mean, you got a few groups that you kind of write with. I mean, is it regulars, like every week kind of deal, or how do y'all rotate that?
Well, we have standing days, which now I realize standing days means, hey, since we have next week, let's cancel this week. And that happens a lot. Yeah. So I have Neil every Tuesday and Tony every Wednesday, and then the other days are just kind of sprinkled, with other people. But
well, I know we've kind of touched on it, but I still have to talk about my favorite song I've ever recorded, which is "Tattoos on This Town."
Man, that song.
But I know there's a lot of personal things from all the writers in that song.
Yeah.
But God, man, that start to finish, man. That song, whenever anybody says, what do you do as a producer? I always say, well, listen to Tattoos on This Town.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
And,
it's amazing, man.
I mean, and when y'all play it out live, who do you sing that one too?
I sing it sometimes, and Neil and I have written so many big songs together that sometimes when you're playing live together, you don't know who's going to sing what, but I would rather just hear him sing everything, but
he said the same thing,
but he won't let me get away with it. So yeah.
But do you even remember writing that song? I mean, y'all.
Oh yeah, I do. I remember demoing it and getting the demo back and thinking it's horrible. The demo was horrible. It just laid there. I was just like, this is.
Well, hey, well, thank God a producer like me got a hold of
it. I know.
Because I fixed that.
Good Lord.
I love it. I actually went out and bought a Gibson Les Paul, just for that song, which I love that guitar now. I'm glad I got it. But
so did you go back and re-demo it, or was that the crappy demo I heard that I cut?
No, it was the crappy demo that you turned into an amazing record. That's what it was.
Yeah, I don't even remember what hit that was for me. If it was 15 or 18, I don't even remember.
It was way up in there. I can't remember.
So looking back, I mean, but you've had 10 number ones, but you've had a lot of freaking cuts. I mean, looking back, I mean, are there? I mean, I know there's some you like more than others, but what are pinnacles for you? Which cuts are you like? Man, I don't get tired of hearing that.
Jeez, I don't know.
I mean, I know they're all your babies and stuff, but there's got to be some that you just really feel like people brought them home, and you're like, God, man, I'm real proud of that.
I don't know. We didn't talk about A Little More Summertime, but that's one song that I'm really proud of, because it was another song that took, like, I can remember Tony and I working on that song a year before we finished it, like we just got it out and messed with it a little bit. And then a year later we got it out, and no part of that song, the only part that made it through the cut and splice and you take this out and put this in, and the only part, even melody, lyric, everything, the only part that made it was the title. I mean, we were still taking things out at the end, to just try to simplify it.
Well, man,
try to make it something.
When I heard that demo and you're singing the crap out of it, that electric thing at the top, man.
I remember sending it to you, and I mean, that's the quickest I ever got a response from you.
Oh, it was actually the first verse, just hearing that electric, and I was like going, man, we spent so much time just trying not to mess that up. Yeah. Because the demo was had such a great feeling about it.
Yeah.
But man, that song was hands down. The first time I heard it, I said, we're cutting this. I know Jason's going to love this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I remember sending you an email right back just saying,
oh yeah,
hold this.
And that was like on a Saturday or something. I was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Well, I got something.
Yeah. I did good. Yeah.
And 2003, ACM Song of the Year nominee, There Goes My Life, we talked about. ASCAP Song of the Year, How Country Feels. And
that's another one with Neil.
Yeah, I do want to talk about How Country Feels because, Randy did an amazing job with it, but God, man, the attitude in that song is awesome. I mean, that attitude, that guitar riff all the way to that hook right before the turner. I mean, all that stuff is so powerful.
Yeah. That idea came from Vicky McGehee. She was actually on an airplane with some lady from New York, and she was telling the lady that she grew up on a farm in Oklahoma or something, I guess, and the lady told her that she'd never been to a farm, never seen a farm, never, and I think Vicky started thinking, oh, you grew up on an asphalt farm, and Neil actually started that lick, from his AC/DC days, and
his big hair days.
Yeah, that's right. And that's another one we just started singing, didn't have a title or anything, just kind of wrote down to it,
Well, man, start to finish, that song, the attitude is awesome. But another song that I've always loved and I keep forgetting, how personal it is How Forever Feels, Kenny Chesney.
Yeah.
When I first heard that, it has you in it all the way because you're such a NASCAR guy, such a race fan, and throwing in those little things in those songs are so personal. Yeah. And I mean, do you even? I mean, I know these things are a few years ago, but they're such signatures of country music.
Yeah. God, How Forever Feels. Yeah, that's a whole nother story.
That was that first video that Kenny took his shirt off.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, that's when he first started working out. Yeah.
Knox Country Podcast Edition.
Some of you know me as a record producer for acts like Jason Aldean and Thomas Rhett. Others know me as the son of rock and roll legend Buddy Knox, Party Doll fame back in 1957. I'm Michael Knox. Welcome to my world. You're listening to Knox Country
Podcast.
Hey, this is Keith Urban.
What's up, y'all? It's your boys here, Florida Georgia Line.
Hey, this is Little Big Town.
And you're listening to Knox Country.
You've entered Knox Country.
Welcome back to the Knox Country Podcast. But racing is a big part of your life.
Yeah, I love racing.
And I bet it's neat to find that where you can put that personal touch in songs and it works.
I love it.
And it works like that.
Texas Was You that you cut on Jason. I mean, it's got the big white number 3 in it and all that, Yeah.
But I mean, you actually race cars.
I do race cars.
Yeah.
I have a couple race cars, and we race like at the fairgrounds in Nashville. It's all asphalt, pro late model and super late model stuff.
I remember a long time ago when a rare genius jumped in one of your cars.
Oh, that's right. I have pictures
out in Murfreesboro.
It was you and Jason Aldean, and
this before any record deals.
Yeah, and you actually, I think you and didn't you and Ronnie Campbell have the same times? Yeah. Which is amazing. You'd never been in a car before.
No.
Yeah.
And he was a lifer, so
That's right. He was. He is. He's a great driver. Yeah,
no, but I had a blast riding that stuff. But that was your car then. But then you went up and you got a driver. You had a driver for a while.
Willie Allen.
Yeah, Willie Allen and Are you still in that right now? Are y'all still?
Yeah,
doing
we
those
still
things?
have stuff together. A lot more sponsors now, thank goodness. That I don't have to pay for things anymore. But
I remember going to the fairgrounds, man, and watching you race and watching all that, and Scott Bruschetta out there doing the truck racing.
Yeah, he was a great
stuff.
driver. Yeah. We still do it. I still go out and tinker. It's a nice diversion from music.
Well,
I get to turn it off for a while.
So what is your day-to-day thing? I mean, because you're kind of like me a little bit. I like my space. I like a lot of private time sometimes and things like that. I mean, what is your day-to-day? Is it geared around a schedule of writing, or is it geared around just kind of how you're feeling?
I don't know. I mean, if things are booked, I go write, and I feel like I'm a pretty private person. I mean, I do my own thing, and I have a little lake house, and a boat and all that stuff that I like to go chill and.
Do you do a lot of fishing,
recharge.
or is it?
Yeah, I mean it's a lake I grew up on, and I know the area pretty well. So I fish and might crack a beer on the boat.
Yeah.
But yeah, just regular stuff.
Yeah. I mean, because I've known you, like I said, man, for the early '90s, and you haven't changed as a person. We used to meet in Bellevue, and play basketball.
That's right.
You remember all that mess?
Oh yeah.
And that's kind of where I started to get to know you real well. But you've always been kind of a private guy, but you write, you really write a lot of personal lyrics. I mean, for somebody that doesn't express themselves a lot walking around day to day, you sure do say a lot of personal things in songs.
That's how we get it out, I think, probably. Yeah. Have to some sort of release, thank goodness.
Yeah.
We can do it that way, but yeah.
So, man, do you try a lot of 3-way or even 4-way co-writing?
I'm not really I'm not a 4-way guy. That's not. Yeah. It just, my favorite still is a 2-way write.
Yeah.
It's a lot more rare now than it used to be. I don't know why that is. I don't know why we feel like we need 3 guys to write a song, but sometimes it helps. I guess if one guy or, one guy's off a little bit, you can, lean on the other guys.
Well, a lot of it too is the infusion of the track guy,
Yeah, you're right.
They feel like that has to be in the room for some reason. And then you get addicted to the easy way of doing that because it feels like the demo's already made while you're singing. Right. And then you're like, hey, that drum track, I guess as a co-writer, I don't know.
That's worth $100,000 to me. I mean, kidding me? Heck yeah. $300 demo, walk out the door. Yeah.
For $100,000.
That's right.
I'm, for those of you who think you don't know Wendell, but you shop at NAPA or have heard a NAPA commercial, you know Wendell a lot better than you think you do because you were the voice of NAPA for a while.
Oh, NAPA know-how.
Yeah, they're going to all hate me now.
Why?
NAPA.
You're the one.
Everybody hated that commercial.
No, they didn't.
You could use
NAPA know-how.
Oh my gosh.
NAPA know. See, there we go.
That's it. That's all day. That's all I'm going to be singing now.
But you did that for several years.
I did.
You were the NAPA know-how guy. You went from Michael Waltrip to
That's right.
to the guy that replaced him.
Oh man, that was a full-time job.
Martin Truex.
That became a job after a while. I mean, it was a cool thing.
Oh, I mean, but you were doing multiple versions and everything.
Well, it was just a lot of, I was trying to write songs, and then there would be, like meetings with people from New York, phone meetings.
To do
3 or 4 times a week to try to write. They had ideas for new versions and all that.
Oh.
So, and then deadlines for it. And I need to finish this song. But
I mean, did you get like any kind of big perks,
like
like
a headache.
free, car parts or something like that for life?
No.
He got big checks.
I did.
Don't let him fool you. He got big checks.
I mean, it was worth it. I mean, I sang them. I did the voiceovers. I got the sync money for writing it. I got all that.
But dude, but your love for racing to end up,
I know it's crazy.
To end up being a part of that was probably really cool.
Yeah, that was. That was pretty. That was pretty crazy.
Now, was it the team you liked being? It was like I love NAPA. No, I love that team now.
I don't even know how that happened. It's crazy.
Now, would you do it? Would you do it again?
I probably would.
You would.
Yeah, I would.
Well, they need it again because now you don't even hear about that product.
Well, I mean, for any product, just getting into that sync world because it is a different world.
They're still. I think they're still buying the sync. I don't know what they're using it for, but
I hadn't heard your voice singing in a long time.
Yeah. But
you would still get paid off the melody, off the song itself.
Get the sync, whatever that is. Yeah. But
would you do any other? I mean, did you like working in sync, or was it kind of different?
I don't mind it. I did some of that stuff when I first came to town. Like I did the Bob Evans commercials, and there were a lot of like little things. they were more regional, like Bob Evans restaurants and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it was still good mailbox money, you know.
Well, dude, you are hands down one of my favorite singers in town. I mean,
Well, I appreciate that, man.
So I know starting out, it had to have been an artist thought, right? I mean, you was that something you were really pursuing?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I really like sleeping in my own bed, man, you know, especially seeing how crazy it is out there, you know.
Yeah, we had Neil on here, and Neil made it a point to go, you know, man, we loved being on the road, but then we looked at each other going, man, we want to go home.
Yeah.
You know, we're tired of this bus.
I was in, when we did that thing with Taylor Swift and Rascal Flatts, where we opened for them, I was in my bunk at like 9 or 9:30 every night. Even Neil, who's a homebody, was going, "What are you doing? Get up!" No, I'm sleeping.
When
This
aren't
is
you?
what time I go to bed.
And I wake up at 4 a.m.
That's right.
And you're
and
sort
they're
of
still up. Yeah,
you're sort of a neat freak.
a little bit. Yeah.
So did that kind of?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think when you're on a bus with a bunch of guys, you just got to let it go, I think. You know?
I was wondering if that got to you at all.
Well, I'm not doing it anymore. That's for sure.
So back then, did record deals come your way? Were people interested, or did you do an artist package, anything like that?
I was offered a thing. I'm not going to mention labels or anything.
Yeah.
But I actually did a showcase with a band back in the 90s somewhere.
Yeah.
And,
I remember all that.
Yeah. And it was a pretty huge deal.
Yeah.
I mean, the showcase and all that. And I got offered a deal. They called and wanted to sign me, but not the band. And it was that deal where I was like, well, I'm with the band here. You know.
Well, you had an out.
Yeah.
You kind of had an out too.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is, I don't have to take it now, you know.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Because you're such a great singer, it's just a natural thing for that to come your way, dude.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I
think most people
I haven't
in town
heard a cut yet that has beat your vocals on a demo yet.
Except Jason's, all of Jason's.
I'm just saying I haven't heard. You know, dude, your vocals are sick. You know, and I'm a huge fan of that part of what you do.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
But I just never knew. I mean, because a lot of the writers we get, there's a lot of guys that were wannabe artists or were artists or were good enough to be artists. You know, do you use a lot of that when you're writing in these things? Or you know, do you use a lot of that artist mindset when you're writing? Or
I think it helps to have been even anywhere near that. I think your radar, your gauge is better for the song. You know what I mean? Like, would I sing this? You know?
Yeah.
If I was an artist.
Hey guys, it's Shalacy. Check us out on the web at knoxcountry360.com or on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at knoxcountry360.
do you find yourself writing better songs for people when you're kind of not writing for them? You're kind of writing for yourself.
Yeah, to me it's always better, you know.
Yeah, because whenever I was plugging songs back in the day,
if I don't like it, there's a good chance no one's going to, you know?
yeah,
right?
I'm being serious. Yeah.
But I think you're right about that, you know.
Well, I remember whenever we
I
had
never
those.
thought about it, but I think that's right, you know.
Whenever we had those camps, and we're like, "Hey guys, we're doing a George Strait camp," you know, and we're sitting there, you know, doing a thing for George Strait, and then all of a sudden, nobody would get a George Strait cut, and they're doing a camp for George Strait. It's funny whenever they focused on that situation where they couldn't get it, but whenever they just wrote, those are the things that got cut.
Yeah, I know. We used to do them at Warner all the time. I never got cuts out of them ever.
I mainly did them just so I could get out of the office.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go to the beach.
It's something fun to do.
Yeah, we had
beach trips were fun.
Yeah, we had those big beach trips.
We probably shouldn't talk about that.
I was about to say, I don't think Warner's going to appreciate this little conversation.
Well, what they probably will hate is that I wouldn't let them write on the retreat.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah, that we would go down there and everybody's like, "Why are you doing that? That's crazy." And all the writers that I was working with, they were all like recouped. You know, they were all getting a lot of cuts. But our whole point was, I want them to come back and be friends.
Yeah,
because then you have a lot to talk about and you got a lot to hang with. But those beach trips, dude, were crazy.
Yeah, they were fun.
We had a lot of fun down there.
The first stop is the liquor store. There's a good chance you're not going to be writing. Yeah. No, it's liquor store, then fireworks.
Yeah.
And
That's
then
always a good
groceries.
combo.
And then groceries, maybe.
And then by Chattanooga, half the bus is gone, and I'm driving.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's hilarious.
I'm looking at some of the hidden Aldean cuts that you've had. I love No.
Oh, wow.
I love that song.
That's early, right?
Yeah. That's
Like
always been one of my
second album
favorites.
or something.
And then Staring at the Sun.
Oh, God, I love that song so
Yeah,
much.
that's probably hands down one of Jason's favorite unsingled tunes.
I heard No on the Weather Channel the other day.
No,
You know how they
Really?
play songs in the background? It was playing in there. Yeah. That's amazing.
awesome.
Woo. Cha-ching.
And and If My Truck Could Talk. I mean, that's...
Oh, God, I love that song too. Why weren't those singles, Michael?
if my truck could talk is probably one of my top 10 songs. Period.
And See You When I See You is amazing.
Yes. Days Like These.
God,
I love that song
Now,
too.
days like these, I hear all the time on
Yeah.
Fox News.
Really?
Yeah, I'll be
Wow.
watching Fox News and they'll be playing Days Like These in the
Yeah.
background.
Wendell, you are popular on Fox News and the Weather Channel.
Oh,
You didn't even know.
So happy.
Forget them elevators, baby. we got the Weather Channel.
That's right. I love it that I
But
heard
dude,
it on the Weather Channel.
we've cut in so many of your songs. It's and you've written with Jason.
Yeah.
You've written you and Neil wrote a tune with him.
Was
correct?
Keep the Girl, Jason?
Yeah, Keep the
Yeah,
Girl.
Keep the
Keep the
Girl.
Girl.
That's right. Yeah. We just wrote with him. We wrote a few things this year with him too.
Yeah, and those came extremely close of him putting them on there. I mean, I think he was harder on his songs than I was because there were a couple of them that I was like, dude, we got to put this on your record.
Maybe next record you won't have any good stuff and you have to put that
Yeah.
on there.
There's always hope.
Yeah, there's always hope. The town dries up.
Maybe some of the writers will go home.
Well, man, is there any other big highlights, things that you wished you hadn't got to yet, but that you want to get to?
Oh, God, I don't know, man. You talking retirement? Is that what you're?
I'm talking about ego accomplishments.
No.
I mean,
Come on, Wendell.
do you want to get into production? Do you want to get into worlds like that?
That's a lot of work, it seems.
It is.
Yeah, and no windows.
You're an awesome producer when you do your job, and everybody there thinks you didn't need to be there.
Yeah, isn't that fun?
So
yeah.
I'm great at that.
Yeah, deflecting that. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it would bother you. I don't know. I mean,
So
I feel
you're-
like I've done a lot of things. Who knows? Later on, I might do it.
Yeah, because your demos are so specific and they have such a vibe about them. You can pick them out, and and that's usually a good sign of a producer, a guy that has that direction.
That's just me hiring the right people.
Well, that's part of that's part of it.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, dude, I love you coming by. Me and you go back a long ways. You're like family to me, and love I get to hang with you as much as I do. So thank you for coming by and sharing a lot of this mess with us.
Knox Country.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Knox Country Podcast. Special thanks go out to co-host Miss Lacey Griffin and producer Donnie Walker. See you next time.
You've entered Knox Country Outtakes.
Well, dude, is there anything you got coming up that you want to talk about or anything?
No, I think I'm good. DLM. Did you talk to DLM?
David Lee Murphy. He'll be next.
That's going to take 5 minutes for him to. Yeah. Okay. All right.
No, I have a girlfriend I could fix you up with. She would love you because she doesn't shut up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just
yeah.
soak it up.
Yeah, I'm sure you'd love that. A
Yeah.
girl just talking your head off. You look like the kind of guy that wants to hang out with somebody that just won't shut up.
You're buried in a shallow grave. If you're bored to death, turn on
There you go.
Michael Knox's 360 wrestling channel on country radio. Nashville, Tennessee. BNA.
Knox Country.
Podcast edition.